Mike, Nate, big fan, but we don't do intros here. Let's get right into a trade. 12 team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium, and it's a start 11. Devonta Smith and a 24 first. Let's call it mid, or Garrett Wilson.
You want me to go first?
Go first, Mike.
All right. Hey, look at Shane changing his background. I want the Devonta Smith and 24 first side, not just because I'm an Eagles fan. Love Garrett Wilson, my wide receiver one in the class, but Devonta Smith, he's going to push to be a wide receiver every single year and then throw in a 24 first on top of it. Smash it.
Nate, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I'm also Devonta Smith in the first tier. I know we're going down a tier, but in a start 11, I'll take the mid first. There's some good players in next year's class. There's some wide receivers I like. There's some running backs I like. Heck, you might even be able to get a really good tight end with that spot. So I'll take the two players over Garrett Wilson.
Question, Nate. Sorry, I don't want to interact or interject here, Clay, but are you sure we're
do
going down
your thing?
tier?
You're a host too. Do your thing.
Yeah.
You're a host as well.
Is that a tier down going from Garrett Wilson to Devonta Smith?
Jesus fucking Christ, yes it is. I was about to yell at Nate saying a tier down. Like, bro, you're moving several tiers down because Garrett Wilson's going to be a wide receiver one, like high-end wide receiver one. That said, it is a start 11. So if anyone plays in start 11s, you know that you're starting dudes like Elijah Moore, not ironically, like not as a joke. You're like, I'm going to throw DPJ out there because I think he can give me 8 points. So I'll probably have to lean towards a D Smith and 24 first side.
What if it's a start 10, guys? Same answer. Would it have to get down to start 9 for you to change your answer?
I think so for me. It's really close. It's really close.
I mean, I think it's a pretty fair trade, regardless of how many you're starting. Just picking up that extra mid 24 first. And if it was a second, then it would be the Garrett Wilson side for me. But the mid 24 first, you have a lot of leverage with that. You can move around in the draft. You can get another player possibly to round out your roster. And Devonta Smith's going to be paired with Jalen Hurts possibly for his entire career. Whereas, and I know that it's possible. Shane, it's possible. I think Devonta Smith retires an Eagle more likely than A.J. Brown retires an Eagle. But Garrett Wilson, after maybe a year or two, his quarterback question, is it a player like Zach Wilson again? How long is Aaron Rodgers going to be there? So, and I know we play in this 3-year window, but the long-term security is nice to have.
Yeah,
it's a good tier down. Yeah. And he's an insulated asset, like a nice tier down. You're not tearing down to a trash can, as we say.
And start 10, I appreciate that you guys are fighting for fourth place like really hard. But I'll take Garrett Wilson in start 10. Start 11 is the only time I like beyond that point. Start 10, start 9, forget that.
I think it really depends on how I feel like this mid pick leans. Is it lean like it could be an early mid pick, or is it lean like it's a late mid, like could go into a later pick? Because this ends up being like a late first. It's Garrett Wilson side all the way.
So it's like Quentin Johnson and Devonta Smith. You know what I mean? Knowing what we know. Zay Flowers and Devonta Smith. Jordan Addison and Devonta Smith.
Well, Nate's going to take it if it's Zay Flowers.
Start 11. Okay, I can live with it.
Sure.
I know I have to.
Mike, you're first on this one. So you're in full control of the settings for a Dynasty startup. What's your format of choice? Break it down as specific as you want to get with it.
Probably, 12 team, super flex, PPR, little tight end premium, either like 0.75 or a full point extra for the tight end. I don't go too crazy. Starting to get into C2C a little bit more. But then I'm like, yeah, I love C2C. And then I text Nate, who should I pick next? And then he's like, well, nobody, because your roster is full. You didn't drop enough players like I told you 2 weeks ago. So,
yep.
But that's it. No more standard scoring for me. And hey, if it could be on Sleeper, that'd be great. Because I like playing fantasy football in this millennia, not the last one.
Sure. How many starters, Mike? How many starters you like?
I kind of like bigger rosters, to be honest with you. I don't like these tiny little benches. I typically try to do it. The one league I set up, it's just mandatory start one running back, start one wide receiver, one tight end, then a ton of flexes. Do you like that? I do. Yeah, because some people like to build their rosters with more wide receivers, more running backs, however they want to do it. So I think it gives the entire league the flexibility to build the roster the way they want. And, then that way they could still have a starting lineup, not have to super scramble to make trades or anything like that. So I like a lot of flexibility because my work is so rigid. So I'd like my fantasy football to have more flexibility.
That's fair. Shane, he looked like he wanted to talk, but he's still on mute. So
What's
no,
the
you're
question?
fine.
What's the
No,
question?
you're good. We're gonna go to Nate first. All
Okay.
right. So
Fine.
Nate, you were in full control of the settings for a Dynasty startup. What's your format of choice?
Yeah, I feel like I got to preface this with I do play a lot of Debbie and I do play C2C, which, someone was asking in the comments. Campus to Ken leagues, you have your NFL league. You also have a college league. It's usually on Fantrax. So you're playing college fantasy football, Dynasty on college, Dynasty on NFL. When your guys graduate, if they go to the NFL, they go to your NFL team. It's like you have two leagues and they're connected. It's a lot of fun, but it takes a ton of time and effort. So it's probably not my preferred league because I'm in way too many leagues to play in a bunch of those leagues. So my preferred league, 12 team. I'm looking at start 10. I'm looking at 25 to 30 roster spots. I used to be really into the deep leagues and I just got tired of deep leagues. I'm in too many leagues to have to worry about, turning over the bottom of my roster all the time. So I've kind of gone back to the middle. So I'm looking for that 25 to 30 roster range, with a good taxi size and everything. PPR, tight end premium, super flex. That's kind of how I like to play.
I like fantasy football a lot. I like the dynasty format, especially. That's what I like to play. The super flex, full PPR. I want some PPC. It's got to be tiered PPR, obviously 1.75 or better for tight ends. I don't want a taxi squad because I just don't understand the purpose of a taxi squad because, as me and Scott have said multiple times, it's not like these guys are going down to your taxi squad and they're gonna come to fruition like 3 years later, like they're in the minors or something. Like they're just trash cans you're generally putting on there, or you're stashing players so that you can bomb that year.
Yeah.
What else? Super flex. I think 11. Start 11 is the perfect number. 14 team league. 14 team league.
You're a 14 team guy.
That's a big one.
I like 14. It's a little. It's more than 12. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I gotta write that down.
Allegedly.
Definitely more than 12. Well, if you believe math isn't just a woke government conspiracy, it's a little deeper, obviously, than a 12 team. But 16 team, it can get gross. Like 14 team, it feels like you can still survive. Like 16 teams, once you're in a hole, like you might as well just fold. Like there's usually no coming back.
I will say one thing about you mentioned the league where there was only one running back required, a wide receiver, and then a bunch of flexes and all. I know Shane's on the same page with me on this, but I want there to be a minimum of you have to start 2 running backs at least because it's already such a hated position. So if you make it to where you only have to start 1 and there's no point per carry to offset that, talk about just wanting nothing. 0 running backs. Any running back on a 53. I know Nate's he's like, yes, that's what we want.
Just don't even include the running backs.
Yeah. Shane's shaking his head because I know he hates the.
Because I think, honestly, you might as well just go play best ball. If you don't want to have to be forced to set positions, like you just want to one size fits all. Like I can have 1 quarterback, or I could have 9. I could have 1 running back, or I could have 13. You're not even.
You're in that league with us, right?
Which league?
The Hometown Zeros League.
Is it like that? Is that the setup?
Yeah.
No.
I'm also in that league.
He's like, oh, I love that league.
Well, now I understand why I can't make some of the trades I've been trying to make. God damn it.
This is probably why. So how many leagues do you play? And that's a problem for Shane, but let's ask you guys too. Mike, you first. How many leagues?
If you ask my wife, I play in 5, but I actually play in 15 or so. So
I hear you, Nate.
I play in 17 leagues, and that includes 2 C2Cs, a couple Debbie leagues, but almost everything's on Sleeper. I have 1 MFL league. I can't get rid of it. So close. I moved 2 leagues from MFL to Sleeper this year. It was so exciting, but there's 1 just sticking on MFL I can't get rid of.
So
I can't even log on to MFL. Yeah, because it's horrific.
It's so terrible. And I play on it because there's a bunch of legacy leagues. I have my 6 original HQ listener leagues are on there.
Sure.
Mostly because Michael Sipes is too old to figure out how to do sleeper. Like, it confuses him. I don't want him wandering off in the road and stuff.
But what I want to know is how people get confused by Sleeper. It is literally the easiest app I've ever navigated.
No,
and I'm not a very technologically savvy guy at all.
So I didn't like Sleeper when it first started because it was gimmicky. It was childish with the mascots and the like. Hey, go win some cookies, and I'm like, what the fuck is a cookie? Like, I don't want to win a cookie. I just want to set my lineup.
Cookies too. They're expensive. Yeah.
But now they've gotten rid of all of that. It's a beautiful thing. I've started 3 listener leagues on there for HQ that other people commish for me. But they're the Renegade leagues, and I love them. And then all of our listener leagues for Dynasty Trades at 5 are on Sleeper because it's just better.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in 31 leagues.
You're in 31. Yeah, I haven't done a recent count. I just shedded one yesterday. It was an amazing feeling. I've got 4 more that are going to go. They're like $5 leagues practically. A little bit more than that, but pretty brutal. Okay, let's move on to the next question here. Let's move to startup talk. So I'm going to keep this. It's going to start broad and we'll get narrower from there. But what general philosophies or what prep do you do before a startup? So do you have any golden rules for yourself? We have 2, but you guys can start. Mike, any golden rules, any prep you do, even though startups can be so fluid?
You know, I used to do a ton of prep for startups. I would make like a big spreadsheet, like I have to get blah, blah, blah. And then I found that every time I did that, just everything I prepped for got shot to you know what within the first 5 picks before most of the time. Sorry, cat's knocking stuff over in here. Before I even got to pick. So I don't do as much prep as I used to. I try to know the people in the league, you know, as best I can, know what their tendencies are. Just pretty much basic stuff like that. Best player available. I try not to force any picks, you know, anything like that. Like I don't try to start the running back run too early or the quarterback run too early or anything like that. I'm a big, but I will tell you this, I'm a big punt to premium guy. So if it's tight end premium, super flex, I'm probably going to wait on those positions and get premium wide. Done that a lot this year. Nate, you saw some of the startups that we've done together. Taking guys like everyone's taking quarterbacks. I'm like, I will take Justin Jefferson. And then I wrap around with, you know, like Jonathan Taylor, a lot like that. And then I had to deal with Zach crying because I didn't do any startups with him this year. So
do you try to build with like Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff as like that level tier wide receiver or quarterback, but then you have studs at the other positions, especially wide receiver?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I want those younger wide receivers like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, guys that I know can be around for a while. And I'll gladly punt, you know, like Jared Goff out produces ADP every year. I'll take a shot on like Geno. Like I have one league, I think it's Jared Goff, Geno Smith, and then Jimmy Garoppolo. So when Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt, you know, I still have at least Geno Smith, Jared Goff, and then I got to just be active on the waiver wire. And I always had to be shopping for quarterbacks, unfortunately, but I know I'm set in other areas for the most part.
And at least you have those, if you have Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, that can always at least get you into the conversation for an elite QB, you know, being able to tear up with one of your trash cans that you drafted. Nate, exactly. Do you like having 2 elite QBs? Do you like making moves and getting 2 elite QBs in a startup, or are you more so punt the premium as well?
Yeah, so I love getting 2 elite quarterbacks. That's how I did a lot of my dynasty startups. Currently, with how startup ADP is and how the players are situated throughout the league, I don't go after 2 elite quarterbacks. I get my 1 quarterback in the first round and then kind of punt the position until I can pick up like a Kirk Cousins for my quarterback 2 or something like that, maybe one of the rookies. But in the years past, when quarterback looked a little bit different, I would always get 2 quarterbacks in the beginning, you know, get that just taken care of right away. Maybe if the quarterbacks get a little bit deeper, I'm going to go back to that strategy. But right now, I pick the 1 quarterback, and then I go down from there, start trying to pick up wide receivers. Usually I like to build around wide receivers and tight ends. I do love having Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews stack. That is that is a stack I get
beautiful
just
thing
about
to
all
look
the time.
at. That's a beautiful thing to look at. Shane, look at it. Yeah, Lord knows what Shane is. Fun fact, Shane never pays attention during our shows. Well, he's pretty good at the live streams.
Really?
And he has never watched a single one of our shows. We've done over 300 videos. We have a few subscribers, never seen one of our shows. But
I've
Shane,
never watched any of our content either or listened to any
Wow.
of it. Only doing editing stuff. I hate the sound of my own voice, and every time I see
you've got
myself,
like the smoothest voice on fucking podcast, man. I need
I
whatever
hear
mic
my
you
voice.
have.
Thank you for the compliment, but when I hear my voice, I literally want to vomit. When I see my face on
What's
TV,
with
I'm
these
like,
Philly
"Get this guy."
folks?
Mike
Shane's the
actually has
same.
a sexy baritone voice. He doesn't have a Philly voice, but his voice, like it's like the dude from Boyz II Men, not Wanye, whichever one had the deep voice. Mike. It was Mike. Matter of fact, it was Mike in Boyz II Men, and it makes me tingle inside.
You know what? I'm going to take that compliment. Thank you, Shane.
Yeah. What was the question, Clay?
But Shane, Nate was saying that back in the past he liked to move up and get to elite QBs, but it sounds like he's kind of comfortable with where QB is in terms of the depth, and that's what you said, Shane. Is you're okay taking a shot on CJ Stroud?
I did say that. I did.
Not pile. Oh, where are you at today then? I guess that was 72 hours ago.
I did say that, right? But I just happened to be in a startup with some people from our Dynasty and Trades and 5 listener league, the third one. And or no, wait, that's not true. I don't know which fucking league it is. Nope, it's Renegades 3.
Is it just
Derby?
him?
What?
You're all frozen. Yeah, I heard Derby. But try again.
I'm sorry. So I took the 109 in the Derby, right? Now, let me give her my background. Maybe if I'm not on fire, it'll work better. So I took 109 in the Derby because I go, I'm fine with taking a quarterback at the turn, like the second pick. Like I'm going to get Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson at 109, and I'm going to be okay with that. That's what I told myself. And I did. I got Justin Jefferson at 109. And then I was like, I want to trade up. So I traded up to 110 and got Bijan. And then I saw quarterbacks fall, and I go, well, fuck this. I need to trade up again. So I traded up to the 203 and got Deshaun Watson, and then took Kyler Murray at 204. So I can say I'm about that life, not getting the elite quarterbacks. But when my balls were to the wall and like somebody was acting like it was in my face, I couldn't actually pull it. I couldn't go through with it. I do like the depth at quarterback now with Stroud and Bryce Young and Anthony Richardson at it. I do think it's a little deeper. I think next year is really going to be the year that we see it, though, with Caleb and Drake May and I guess and Spencer Rattler and Michael Phoenix and Penix, whatever his damn name is, and all types of other dudes jumping in.
So Shane, we're actually going to stay with you, so you can stay off mute, and we can listen to you driving in the wind tunnel that you're in with that fan. We don't want you to die. But here's a trade for you. And this might look familiar to a couple of the other guys on here. So 12-team Superflex PPR start 10. Shane, are you going Tyreek Hill and Chris Godwin or AJ Brown?
Tyreek Hill and Chris Godwin?
Or AJ Brown?
I probably would have to go to Tyreek Hill side, and I don't want to.
The reason I asked this question, Nate, Mike, does this look familiar? I heard this trade on one of your shows, and you guys you didn't specify start 10, but you said 12-team Superflex is what I caught. Just assume PPR. You guys wanted AJ Brown, so that's fine. But talk to me about it. That looks like a free Godwin to me. I don't know.
Did we all want AJ Brown? Did I want AJ Brown? I feel like I probably didn't want AJ Brown here.
How long ago was that?
It was like maybe 2 episodes or so. I was doing a little bit of research, a little bit of market research before this.
Right.
No, but what's your answer today? Whatever. Let's talk through it.
I think with the 2 to 3 year window that we're looking at in Dynasty Fantasy Football, I think AJ Brown, Tyreek Hill are giving you similar production, quite honestly. Now, obviously, AJ Brown, much better Dynasty asset, but in that 2 to 3 year window, Chris Godwin, I'm not a huge Chris Godwin fan. So for me, if this was like personally my team, I'd probably keep AJ Brown because I'm just not a huge Chris Godwin fan, but I know he scores points. He's just not my flavor. So for someone else who's a bit higher on Chris Godwin than myself, I see the value in the Tyreek Hill, Chris Godwin side, having, being able to put Chris Godwin into your flex versus whoever you have in there. Now, if you're struggling at the flex position.
Shane's raising his hand. That's polite. Go ahead, Shane.
Yes. So look, I love AJ Brown, and I'd probably swallow him if I met him. But AJ Brown's best season last year, 17.6 points, 17.7 is the best of his career. Would have been one of Tyreek Hill's bottom 3 seasons, excluding his rookie year. Tyreek Hill and AJ Brown and I love AJ Brown. They're not the same. AJ Brown, there's about a 3-point difference a game there. And Chris Godwin, as much as people apparently hate the dude for some reason, if he's healthy, he's going to put up 14 to 15 to 16 points a game. So you just got a wide receiver 2 for free. Just add it to your roster for funsies because you wanted to go with an age discount. Now I get the age discount. I do. I really do. But like Nate said, I'm playing in 2 to 3 year windows. Like I can't worry about AJ Brown in 5 years. It's only going to be 30. So I'm going to be looking back on this trade that I made in 2023 when it's 2028 and I'm like, who's winning now? You know what I mean? Like, I just can't do it.
So let's pull up Mike, where you at? Where you at on that? Tyreek Hill and Godwin or AJ Brown?
Yeah, like Shane was saying, I don't understand the Chris Godwin hate. And I mean, we don't know what's going to be going on at quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But, look, Baker Mayfield, he's played some good football in the NFL, good enough to support some fantasy wideouts. So I'm going to take the Tyreek Hill and the Chris Godwin side. And if you're the recipient on that side and you don't like Chris Godwin, then trade him. Trade him for something else that you do like. I think one of the things that people overlook when they're trading is, well, I don't like this asset in the trade that I'm getting back, and I can't get something else I like. Okay, well, do you think you can move that for something else that you do like, that you feel will be more productive on your team? You're killing me here, Clay. I can't remember what I had for lunch today, and I'm supposed to remember something from 2 episodes ago, but that's what I'm going to take. I think people are a little worried about Tyreek Hill right now because he said he's going to retire in 2025. That's 1, 2, 3 seasons from now. You're going to get top tier production, and we saw even with Tua missing time, Tyreek Hill still putting up big numbers. I have no problem with that. Chris Godwin, I believe he resigned in Tampa Bay for a few more years. I do think that Tampa Bay figures out their quarterback situation. It could be Kyler Murray next year because a lot of people are saying the Cardinals could have the 1st and 2nd overall pick, and it would be Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. Just looking at depth charts around the league, Kyler Murray would be an upgrade in Tampa Bay for sure. Next year is going to be interesting if you just look at the NFL as a whole. I don't know how many openings there's actually going to be for quarterbacks. It's going to be really interesting come draft time. So I'm excited.
And I really never worry about the quarterback play for a wide receiver. Like the quarterback play has to be so atrocious to actually affect their scoring, to actually make them not a supreme asset if they're a supreme asset. So I won't even worry about, is it going to be Baker, Kyle Trask, or I'm going to just keep saying Bo Nix. It's going to be Bo Nix.
Trash can. Yeah, and that's where it comes down to league economy too, because, like you just said there, Shane, the quarterback has to be horrific for the wide receiver to really struggle, but maybe your particular league just doesn't like Chris Godwin. And I guess that would come into play. But let's put this up right here from Colin Crandall. Awesome to see this was coming out tonight. I can't make it because it's family time. Y'all should do a content creator league. And just in case y'all offer a league, hashtag hammers, hashtag orb. So those are some inside jokes amongst us. Colin, thank you very much for the super chat. Blind has one as well. Looks like this has a trade attached to it. Thank you very much. It's a 12-team Superflex start 11 with a 0.5 tight end premium. So we're going to assume PPR and then 1.5 for tight ends. Startup draft. 106 traded 2nd, 3rd, 5th for Mahomes, 8th, and 9th. Where do I go from here? Play the board, trade, own pick for win now. Managers aren't budging on trade backs for a first. Okay, so again, 12-team Superflex start 11, startup draft 106. Okay. Help me out here. Obviously, he didn't get Mahomes at 106.
So I'm assuming this is the trade with the 101 or the 102 or somebody.
Yeah.
And he's now up at the 106, and he already has Mahomes.
And hey, look, if they're not budging on trade backs, you're going to have to.
Oh, just have to draft an elite quarterback, I guess.
Poor you. Oh, no, I have to add.
This is like Shane in Hometown Heroes where he has Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a terrible feeling. Poor you. Dude, you draft a monster quarterback there. Start 11, which, it sucks that you're not going to have some of those middle round picks, but I literally just did this in a startup where I did not the quarterback setup, but like I traded away all the middle round picks, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and didn't make a pick until the 9th. I went like 4 picks in the first 2 rounds and then started picking again in the 9th. I was able to get dudes like Deontay Johnson. There's other players I got that I can't remember the name of, but starting caliber
sitting there. Right.
Yeah, there's enough players that start because it's so flat after the 4th round. Like we've talked about this before, you could end up getting the same dude in the 5th round that you get in the 10th round production wise.
And this kind of lines up with what we say we'll pay if we're moving up to get a second elite QB, if we do want to, if our league will let us do that, and if we do want to make that move. But we actually would give up more than this. So open to trading a 2nd, 3rd, 4th for that elite QB, and then an 8th or a 9th. So that's a 5th instead of a 4th. But I guess I should mention here too, I kind of jumped around, sorry, with the startup and then went to a trade, but we have a couple golden rules in startups, where we don't want to give up. Sorry, what's this? I got Mahomes at 101. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean,
look,
unless you just shit all over yourself the rest of the draft, like you'd have to absolutely just diarrhea on your own face for not to be able to build a team that can compete. Like I was just looking at it. I got Deontay Johnson, Devin and Chain, Isaiah Pacheco, and again, I forget a 24 pick. So something that could have been, another level. You can build a very good enough starting roster to add to those 2 monster quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what I was saying is we have 2 golden rules, let's call it. So the first one is we don't like to trade away our 1st round pick in a startup. Okay. So that's one of them. The second is we always want to get the same amount of pieces back that we're giving, even if it's us only getting a 17th rounder thrown in on that side. Get that extra pick. Always have the same or getting more pieces on the other end. What do you guys think about that?
Agree
in general.
Both of them. I love both of them. I'm a huge proponent of making sure that the sides of the trade you're not losing assets. I love gaining assets through trade. I love sending if I'm sending 2 guys over and I can get 2 other guys of equal value and then I get like a 3rd on there or something like that. I'm always down for getting that extra pick or that little extra value. I don't mind, trading 1 for 2, but I really don't do any kind of trade where I'm trading 1 guy for 3 players or anything like that. I don't like to lose the depth of my team, especially because I play in a lot of, start 11s, and it just doesn't work for your team to give away those players.
Right.
Says the guy who's one of the hardest people to trade with.
It's not easy.
There are times where I think it's taken weeks to get a trade done.
I just completed a trade that took about a month and a half of trade negotiations with someone.
Oh my God. I would drive to your house and fucking kick you in the
But
nuts.
how much back and forth though? Are we talking like 4 or 5 exchanges a day for 30 days?
No, we're talking
Sounds awful.
We're talking like 3 or 4 messages a week over a month and a half.
Okay. So that's
Nate
not
isn't
horrible.
the most
Patience.
responsive person to communicate with at times, to be fair.
I can take my time.
Dude, that's like entering
I'm
into a
hard,
relationship with someone. Like you've entered into a full-on relationship. Like you're married at that point. Like that is just too much commitment for me.
It's great because when Shane starts talking like this, I know like historically my move is then just start looking for another question, because he's gonna put out one of those things. I make a note as to TikTok time, and then I find something else. Let's go to Mike here. Thank you very much for the super chat. Hey gents, did dumb or okay? 12-team Superflex start 9 PPR. Allen, Burrow, Bijan, JT, JJ, Diggs, AJ Brown, T, Terry, and Andrews. Okay. Pay to brag. We've got another pay to brag coming. Traded Cousins and Swift for Amon-Ra and P. Ryan. Couldn't trade Cousins for picks. Trade Diggs now. Okay. So let's see if we need to pump the brakes on Mike here. He built a ridiculous team, so let's not let him screw it up here. What do you think about that? Traded Cousins and Swift for Amon-Ra and P. Ryan.
I don't think he needed the wide receiver, just to be honest. He didn't need Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm certainly not upset that we have Amon-Ra St. Brown now. But I feel like I don't love Swift personally, but I feel like we need some more depth at running back, beyond Bijan and JT at some point. So if we have a good RB3 after that, I'm okay with this. But same thing with a quarterback. Do we have a good quarterback 3? I'd rather have a good RB3, a good quarterback 3 before I have adding to this really, really good wide receiver room.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate moving on from Diggs when you're looking at, the rest of the roster. Obviously, you don't need to. You got a really good
He's
starting
got the
lineup.
stack too. He's got the stack
Yeah.
too. The
Yeah.
Allen Diggs stack. I don't want to move that stack
Got
in the start
Burrow
nine.
key
In the
stack.
start nine.
I've seen times too where guys have teams that are this good, and when they try to trade, people are like, "No, screw you. Your team's too good already." You know what I mean? When it says, maybe you could even move on from a guy because you have, if like Clay says, you don't want to mess that stack up. Can move on from like a T Higgins. You get really premium assets for him. When you say Terry, I'm assuming Terry McLaurin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can move on from him. But I do agree with Nate. I would prioritize backup quarterback QB3 with it being a super flex personally. But I would like, and I love trading Swift. By the way, even though I'm an Eagles fan, I'm all on the moved away from Swift, because if you look at how the Eagles pass to the running back, which they're being heralded as he's going to be a huge receiving back, they just don't do it. Just don't.
Well, let's actually stay on the running backs, because maybe you'll remember this show. But you guys the other day seemed like you were kind of bullish on Javonte Williams, obviously in some situations over others in terms of where your team is at in the league. But talk to me about Javonte Williams. I heard one of you say that you're open to giving up a 24 first for him right now.
That was probably me. And Nate, bullish is the good one, right? Bearish is the bad one. Okay. I was just like the one with the boats. I always get that one all mixed up too. Look, I'm all in on Javonte Williams. You got a Sean Payton offense coming in. I understand that Samaje Perine is there, and they're expecting there's the offseason smoke and mirrors about Samaje Perine, but I don't really think he's going to be that much of a thing in Denver. I'm excited about the Denver offense, and you got to buy as low as you can while you can. I do think that offense is going to look a lot better this year. Russell Wilson will hopefully return to some sort of startable form. I'm also all in on Greg Dulcich. I'm all in on Jerry Jeudy, guys like that. So, I mean, they can only go up from where they were last year. And I know that Javonte Williams is coming off of an injury, but I do think he is a supreme talent, and I'm willing to move that pick that I have a year that I can get back for him.
Nate, you want to jump on there?
Yeah, with Javonte Williams, a 24 first, like a late 24 first, is fair value, I think, for Javonte Williams right now. I mean, Dynasty. If I was trading for him, I'd start out with like 2 seconds. I think I'd be much more happy with that than a late first. But with a late first, I think Javonte, he was a great prospect. I really liked him coming out of college. I think the Broncos situation is still a good situation. Coming off the injury, there's been correlation to burst score and that being relevant to how a player comes back from injury. Javonte is kind of like right on the cusp of reaching that threshold. I think he's like right over the threshold. So I think he'll return rather to form, maybe not completely to form, like Breece Hall. I mean, his burst score and athleticism is off the charts. So I expect a full recovery from Breece Hall. But Javonte Williams, not quite as athletic. So, I think it's going to be more like 90%, 95% of what we were going to get at Javonte Williams. I still think that when we get that when healthy in a Sean Payton offense with what I expect an improved Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy out there, I expect that to be, enough production that it's worth a late 24 first.
Shane, 24 first or Javonte Williams?
24 first by about a fucking kabillion. I'm sorry. There's a finite number of running backs that are worth a 24 first. Javonte Williams isn't even in the stratosphere. He's not even the same building as the running backs that are worth a 24 first. Javonte Williams is trash. It was amazing that he jumped up to like running back like 8 in ADP after like a running back 32 season as a rookie. He can't carry a full workload. He's never carried a full workload. So in college or in the pros, there's no indication that they want him to. I just don't see what people see in him. I mean, he's a nice role player. I think he could be a running back 2, maybe even a high end one, but I can't get in on it. That 24 first all day. I wish I had a Javonte Williams anywhere to trade to you two guys. Well, specifically in Hometown Zero.
Yeah, I'll take him.
How about this? Shane, Javonte Williams or Rashad White and a 24 second?
Rashad White in the 24.
Guys, is that Javonte for you or Rashad White in second?
In that case, I'm actually going to lean the Rashad White side in the second, just because I know I'm getting a healthy running back. I'll take the second on top of it. I don't know if Rashad White's going to get the full workload. I'm assuming he's going to. I know that offense isn't going to be the best, but I did like what I saw from Rashad White last year when he did get some carries. And I remember where the heck was I? It was my anniversary weekend. My wife and I were at a bar having lunch. And I think it's when Rashad White, they were in the Germany game, right? So it was on fairly early. And I just saw him straight up stiff arm one of the Seahawks defenders into next week. And I was like, I need some more Rashad White on my fantasy.
He looks good catching the football too.
He does. Yeah. And I think that was kind of an underrated facet of his game. But I do like Rashad White, and that's probably the cheapest you'll be able to get Rashad White for a while, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, unless he busts out. If he busts out this year, we're obviously screwed.
Yeah. So, sorry, Nate, do you want to say something? Go ahead, bud.
No, I'll take the package as well. I think Rashad White, I think the production's there this year because he's going to get a lot of dump offs. I like the talent of Rashad White, but I don't feel great about him long term. I think he gets replaced or has, a decent amount of competition come in after this year. So, I don't feel the same way about Javonte, but with the second on top, I'll take Rashad White in that production with the second.
Yeah, that's a trade.
So here's the thing. So basically, by saying you would take Rashad White in a second over Javonte Williams, you're saying you would take a 24 first over Javonte Williams.
No, see, I think like a late 24 first and 24 seconds are similar value. Okay. And I consider that Rashad White's like an early second valuation. So, we're sitting at that same value that I said I would want Javonte Williams for, which is 224 first, which is kind of what I see as Rashad White and that 24 first. But I'm getting that production right away. I'll take that.
Hey, the crowd is feisty tonight, Clay.
Shane, who's this Urban IX guy? Is this cool? Like you start a couple things.
I have literally no idea who he is, but
yeah, he's about to go bye.
He's whatever. Look, we love everyone that gives us shows. He brought witty stuff like, "Oh, shut up, Shane, you bald fairy," like Tinkerbell. You have such and I'm thinking that's Figgy like Newton's voice. Foggy, like Mel Torme. So he thinks I'm the Velvet Fog. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Urban.
Yeah, there's another one too. Anyway,
there's a good one in the comments right here. Bald Dad, thank you for being a former sub to Dynasty Rewind for a while until they started charging $80 for roster views. Lost you and all your respect. Hey, shoot me a DM. We could hash it out in there. I know that there's other places, they do roster views too, maybe more, maybe less, but come on back. You could watch our videos for free on YouTube. So
let's go to Chub Knuckles. So $20 super chat. Thank you very much. So just wanted to hashtag pay to brag. So if people are going to ask us questions, they got to pay to be able to put a sexy team like this up on the board, right? Now, Chub Knuckles is a good guy. So paying to brag, this roster is a year and a half in the making, and all because of the gentleman here tonight. Hurts, Fields, AR, Bijan, Brees, JT, Mixon, Connor, JJ, Garrett Wilson, London, JSN, McLaurin, Deontay, Kelsey, Pitts, and 324 first.
Oh,
thanks.
Man.
Wow.
Well, I mean, he put in some work too, obviously. I look at this team and I immediately need to do something with that running back room. Very, very overweight there. He's got some hammers, but I don't know. That's a lot of running backs. There's a lot of running backs. Chub Knuckles, thank you very much. That's a beautiful team. Don't screw it up.
Sure.
No, keep hanging with us. Hopefully we can help you out. Okay, so let's move that one out of this way. I'm going to just pull this up. Darth Desmond, love this collab, he says. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Yeah. No, we're stoked. This was probably overdue. So let's go to this one right here, and then I'm going to find some
I was talking while I was on mute, but no, that trade. I'm sorry, or that team. I got distracted.
No problem.
But dude, that team was absolutely stacked. And if we had anything to do with that, I feel good about life.
Yeah, for sure. That's where you hope it's a big buy-in league.
Yeah, I hope so for your sake. Yes. Yeah.
No doubt. Okay, so I'm going to put this super chat and trade up here, and then I'm going to find something non-super to put up. So Aho Paho, we'll call it. Thank you very much for the super chat. 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, start 10. So this is in his or her inbox. My Pitts and DK for Deshaun Watson. I would have Burrow, Deshaun, Pickett, Purdy, Dotson, Javante, and Trash in a rebuild. Shane, let's have our guests go first here. Nate, let's start with you, man. What do you think about this? In the inbox.
All right. You know, I'm not as high on Deshaun Watson as you guys are. You know, I was watching some of your videos. I know you guys like Deshaun Watson. I'm not as big into him. I know I'm not a huge fan of Kenny Pickett or Brock Purdy either, but I like Pitts. I like DK. Even though there's no tight end premium,
look at that QB room. Look at that QB room. I'm not trying to bait you one way or another, but look at the current QB room without Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you know, I don't believe in Purdy, so I think Deshaun Watson is the move here. That's the best move for the team. And then we can move off of one of Purdy or Pickett, whichever one we can.
Mike?
Regardless of the tight end premium or not, I really hate moving on from Kyle Pitts and DK Metcalf, to be honest with you. But I agree with Nate. I think it does make the most sense for the team. Is there any way you could get like something back on top of that? Maybe, because I mean, Kyle Pitts is still tight end? What would we say? 4 in Dynasty?
Yeah, 4 at
3,
worst.
around there. You know, and DK Metcalf, people are not as high on him as they were a couple years ago, but he's still going to be an extremely productive wide receiver. I mean, him and Tyler Lockett both over 1,000 yards last year. Hey, guess what, everybody? Geno Smith can support 2 wide receivers. You saw it happen. I don't know what's going to happen with JSN there now and that backfield. Who knows? But I mean, I don't hate it. I would love to get something a little bit more on top of it if I could, even if it's just some picks. I'm not as high on Deshaun as you guys are, but I think I'm a little bit higher on him than Nate is. I'm kind of coming around a little bit. I think your buy low window on Deshaun is going to be closing buy low in quotes. It's going to be closing real soon. Once he goes out there, has a few good games, people are going to be all back in.
Bro, what are we even talking about? You're giving up a tight end and a wide receiver 2, back end wide receiver 2, mid wide receiver 2 for an elite quarterback in a super flex league. We say you should overpay for quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks in a super flex league. Here, I'm underpaying for one. Like, I'm taking this, smashing it, accepting it. I might even message him immediately after, him or her, just to be like, that wasn't a mistake, right? Like, this is your one chance. Like, I don't want you coming back a week later when you realize what you did, saying, that was a mistake. Like, this is your one out. Did you make a mistake?
Yeah, well, you add them to the Christmas card list. You know, send them a fruit basket of sorts. Exactly. You know, I would keep the relationship alive if I could get Deshaun Watson from that person for that.
I would and continue trading with him. Continue trading with that person.
Well, and that just shows too. That's a league then where Kyle Pitts is valued. Kyle Pitts is a polarizing player. Like league economy wise, it varies so much with Kyle Pitts, but in that case, Kyle Pitts was a premium asset, like we think he is, and got him into the conversation to be able to get Deshaun Watson. So nicely done. It's a good trade either way. It's always cool to see a trade where a quarterback's on one side and there's not one on the other. Yeah. Someone can score an elite quarterback without giving one away. Those are always cool.
Do you guys think Purdy's going to be the starter in San Francisco? People ask me. I have no idea.
I think so.
Don't even know. You think so?
That would be my inclination, but I don't even want to speak to it either. I feel like I'm speaking dumb on the subject.
Yeah, I just usually stay away from the unknown. So like I just don't bother with San Francisco quarterbacks. I didn't bother with their running backs for a long time. I don't touch Patriot running backs usually, Dolphin running backs. I stay away from the unknown. Give me what I know.
Shane, who's going to be the starting quarterback?
I don't care. I don't think either of them. I don't think Brock Purdy's actually any good. And I know you can only play who you play. He happened to play some really bad defenses last year, past defenses, till you got to the Eagles. And unfortunately, the Eagles, he got injured in that game because I would have loved to seen the myth of Brock Purdy destroyed that day.
They're still crying, Shane.
So now I have to listen to this Brock Purdy story for an additional 4 months. I want it to be Trey Lance just because of the upside, right? The rushing ability, even if he's not great, even if he's not great as a thrower, as long as he can be decent as a thrower, the fantasy upside would be pretty superb.
Yeah, so I was hoping to have another 30 seconds here to be able to find this, but we had a couple people ask us to specifically mention some players here. Okay. All right. These guys are pretty good, is what this commenter said. Can you please make sure Shane brings up Olave? Well, that's not too hard to do. One of those guys hates him. So is one of those guys in the room with us tonight? Which one of you guys hates Olave?
You know,
Neither?
I didn't like Olave coming out of college. I didn't dislike him. I still had him as a top something receiver. I mean, he was still like in my top 5, 6 or something like that. But I wasn't nearly as high on Chris Olave as a lot of people, even halfway through his rookie year. But after his rookie year that he had, and no, I'm a fan of Chris Olave now. I mean, I don't have him as a top 5 dynasty wide receiver or anything like that. But
so why do you hate Chris Olave then?
I guess I'm just like lukewarm, not even like lukewarm on Chris Olave.
I'm gonna have to send you the stat head link that I keep referencing every time I talk about Chris Olave. He is elite, dude. And I'm like you. I actually I had wanted no parts of Chris Olave coming out because I was listening to a specific narrative that he was weak in college. He never broke a tackle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was like, I don't like this guy. He's not even tough. He's probably going to get destroyed on the football field. And then he came out there and absolutely destroyed the league. No problem. And also, just if the toughness was a question, my man caught a touchdown pass while he was knocked out. That ball didn't move. You look at Chris Olave's cohorts based on what he did in his rookie season, that dude should, because there's always outliers, but he should be an absolute smash going forward.
Yeah, he checks a lot of those boxes for future success. No doubt.
I'm a fan, and I don't think I have any Chris Olave shares. I just don't think that I was able to draft anywhere. Like, he was always gone before me. I'm trying to do the Dynasty Planet thing to see right now.
I don't have a lot of Chris Olave, unfortunately.
Ooh, this is a Dynasty Daddy show.
And so I can't
really prefer you checking them out because I got to be honest with you. Listen, this is no shot at Dynasty.
We'll hide this. We'll hide Rewind. You see, with the Dynasty Daddy logo right there.
I don't want to put anyone on blast, but I used to love Dynasty Planet. I was one of their early proponents.
You were.
And then Dynasty Daddy came, and it was like going from like your girlfriend's a 6 to what I would imagine if your girlfriend's a 10. Like, it's not even the same stratosphere. I obviously wouldn't know, but it's not even the same thing. Like, Dynasty Daddy site is so good and so many tools. Like, there's a reason we use them for the roster reviews. It's so good. And just while you're doing that, I already looked up my Chris Olave, but I know this by heart. I have 6 shares of them. And,
I have 0.
That's unfortunate.
Verified. I know, and I can't trade for him either. Nobody, like, I've sent out overpays for Chris Olave, and every trade that I've sent, it's always been the exact same response. I'm not moving him for anything right now. And that's
a silly response, right? So if someone comes at me like they're like, here's Garrett Wilson in a first. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna pull up a trade that I did, but once again I ran out of time to do that. So here's a perfect one, though. It's a super chat, and it has a player in it that, again, the crowd wanted us to ask you about. So Johnny Sung, thank you very much for the super. It's a 12-team Superflex Start 11 PPR, 7 points per pass touchdown. Rebuilding team, give Ayuk and a 25 first. Get Drake London. Thoughts on this trade? Enjoy both channels' content. Thank you, Johnny.
Johnny, did you specifically want us to talk about Drake London? Is that why you
I wonder if it was Johnny in the comments, but yes, people wanted you to talk about Drake London.
Ladies and gentlemen, your wide receiver 31 from 2022.
Not even top 24.
Drake London.
Right?
Look, if you want Drake London, you have to overpay for Drake London. That's just the nature of it right now.
Overpay.
Man, I'll tell you what, Drake London, though, if he ever does get paired up with Caleb Williams, that, like Shane, you said maybe they'll draft Caleb Williams. That would be fun. But this is really, you know what? I lean the Ayuk side. I think Ayuk is a better wide receiver. he was a better prospect. I loved him coming out of Arizona State. I'll take the 25 first on top of it. I will either use that to move around and get other assets, or maybe stockpile some 25 first. So I get Nicholas Singleton, Penn State, who's going to be maybe the next Bijan. Shane's going to disagree with me. I can tell that's fine.
All right. So I got to talk about Drake London.
Go for it.
I'm the infamous Drake London hater on YouTube, apparently.
That's true.
So I wasn't a huge fan of Drake London throughout college. You know, I thought he played in the slot originally, and I didn't think he could play on the outside. So I wasn't a big fan of his prospect. This year, he played in the slot, he played outside, did a little bit of both. I thought he looked decent at both. But right now, wide receiver 11, I doubt he finishes as a wide receiver 1 at any point, anytime soon, because not only do I not completely believe in the talent, but the situation is not set up for him to put up top fantasy production. Like, top fantasy production essentially requires like 140 targets to be a wide receiver 1. And Drake London's not getting 140 targets. And he was not efficient on his targets last year. I know there's a quarterback problem there, we can say. But also, you look at Drake London's production, and in the beginning of the season when Kyle Pitts was healthy, Drake London was playing outside. And as I told you, I didn't think he could play outside in college. Well, he wasn't scoring a lot of points. And now you can also say Marcus Mariota was there. But either way, Kyle Pitts gets injured. All of a sudden, Drake London's slot snaps go up like crazy. He's in the slot all the time now because they need that big slot. So he starts scoring points. Well, Kyle Pitts is healthy. He's going to be back in the slot. Drake London's going back outside. I don't believe the production is going to be there. Plus the fact that they don't throw the ball. They run the ball. They just drafted Bijan. This is the team that's coached by the offensive coordinator who made Derrick Henry. I mean, it doesn't make sense to draft Drake London and have his value be as high. Give me the Brandon Ayuk side all day. I'll take Brandon Ayuk straight up over Drake London.
I like Drake London a lot. You know, I like Drake London a lot. I'll tell you about his target share until the cows come home. It was over 30% last year.
Yeah, that scores a lot of fantasy points.
Immaculate for a rookie.
Target share.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, target share is predictive, though.
Yeah.
Right? You can't predict. I'll take someone that's not producing on a 30% share over someone that is producing over 15% share, because one of those is flukish. That said, I'm getting a 25 first on top of Ayuk. I already like Ayuk. Like, you're giving me another free first. And London, unfortunately, he didn't pop enough last year where I'm going, well, this is a can't move guy. Like, if you come at me with a fair offer like that, where I'm getting a first and a wide receiver that's within his scoring range, I want the package.
So Mike and Nate, because I know where Shane's answer is on this, Drake London or Javonte Williams?
I'll take Drake London there.
Yeah, I'll just take the long term of a wide receiver over
just the
over
value, insulation, and how
like
some
Javonte
people really
Williams.
do like.
I know I do like Javonte Williams, but look, wide receivers, they do have longer shelf lives, and if you do have, Drake London pop, like everyone thinks that he can, or even show a little bit more life than he did last year, you can more than likely move him for, something better than Javonte Williams. So it's got to go where that value's at.
Alyssa, thanks for the question. And there's the Shane Alyssa bet at the end here, but she says, love all you guys. So she's a fan of all of us. We appreciate it. We're a fan of Alyssa. It's a 12-team Superflex start 10. My QBs are Mahomes and Allen, so tough life there. Got offered Jefferson for 102, Diggs, and 109. My wide receivers are Chase, Wilson, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Judy. So 12-team Superflex start 10. The 102, I mean, obviously.
I don't know what his running back room looks like, but if it's not great, I mean, I'll probably keep the package because I'll take Gibbs.
I'm holding that.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a super flex, so I'll take
flex. I still might take Gibbs. Like, I'm trying to score points. If I already have two good quarterbacks, I might still take Gibbs because I'm trying to win.
You're looking at it. I mean, but he's already got Mahomes and Allen, right? So, the one time I don't get it correct.
Alyssa, seriously, the one time.
Alyssa's already got Mahomes and Allen. Clearly, she doesn't need a quarterback. I'm guessing she already tried to trade back. Is it an overpay? It is, but it happens to be for the wide receiver 2 in Dynasty because I'll put Chase at 1. I can live with giving up the question around CJ Stroud or Bryce Young or even Anthony Richardson here when I got those quarterbacks, and I could care less about the 109. Like Dalton Kincaid isn't going to sway me. Like is giving up Diggs and Anthony Richardson and Dalton Kincaid a lot? Probably. But you're getting Justin Jefferson. Like there's certain players that I'm okay paying for, that I'm okay with taking a loss on a trade calculator.
I'm not doing this one. I'm not doing this one at all. I mean,
she did say her running backs
what's
are
up?
Pollard and Stevenson. So she put in the chat there.
Okay, so that's fine. If I have Chase and Wilson and St. Brown and all, I'm plenty happy when I look in the mirror at wide receiver. I don't need a Jefferson. That's like a, that's just getting greedy, it seems like. Alyssa, if I were in the league and there was a lot of action and those picks were really fungible and you could move around with those pieces, I would keep Diggs with that stack with Allen. I would try to make that 109 a 24 first, and then you can do whatever you want with that 102. You can buy another stud.
Wait, here
if you wanted to, instead of drafting Anthony Richardson. What's up,
Alyssa? Since you pretend to think that Jerry Jeudy is elite, maybe we could swap Jeudy out for Diggs here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they've got a bet that isn't confirmed. We think it's a bet that Jerry Jeudy is going to outscore Olave, and we know which side Shane is on that one. But yeah.
I mean, I don't know, Shane.
Oh, Jesus Christ, bro! You can
it all depends on the health of Michael Thomas.
No, it absolutely does not. You earn your target share. My dude is elite.
I don't know if Michael Thomas ever plays again, man.
Me and Nate got a bet. Me, Nate, and Alyssa. This is the worst threesome ever. But me, Nate, and Alyssa, we got a threesome going here where I'm taking Olave. Those two are gonna like sandwich me.
I still like Olave, whether Michael Thomas is there or not. But if we're talking upside, Michael Thomas, you have to admit that Michael Thomas limits Olave's upside at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I have literally no concerns. This ain't Michael Thomas from 20. When's the last time Michael Thomas was good? 2019. 2018. Like it wasn't this decade. I know that.
It's been a while.
It was like 2020.
Yeah, I took him in Scott Fishbowl, but that's the only situation where I will ever hit draft on Michael Thomas's name. Like,
but how late was it? Like
very, very.
I was going to say,
yeah.
You're not taking him in the 10th round or anything. So at the point that you took him, it was probably like if he does anything, this is just a huge bonus for your Fishbowl team, man.
Yeah. So
Jaja Fresh, yes, you get Jefferson there, and if you want to recoup some of your value, go ahead and move that Jerry Jeudy that people are unreasonably high on, or even Amon-Ra St. Brown, which you would get a really, really good return on.
That is an option too. Just get Justin Jefferson, just drive it off the lot, and then go from there. You've got wide receivers 1 and 2. Sure. Okay, let's keep moving here. Let's go to random guy on YouTube. Hey, we are too. So 10-team Superflex, tight end premium, start 9. Core pieces are Tua, Love, Pitts, Devontae Smith, Ridley, London, Burks. RBs are garbage. Rookie draft. How should I spend the 102, 103, 106, 7, 9, and then he's got the 202 and 206 as well. Okay, so 10-team Superflex, start 9. Let's see, Tua and Love. I want a couple QBs right there, but go ahead, talk it through, guys. That's a lot to work with.
That is a lot. Well, let's see. How much do you believe in Tua and Love? Tua looked pretty good when he was healthy, and Jordan Love is kind of a question mark. The nice thing is you have 2 consecutive picks, so I guess we could say Bijan's going to be the 101. Has anyone seen any drafts where Bijan has not been the 101?
Yeah, I've seen Anthony Richardson go off the board.
Okay. All right. I personally have not seen any. So let's just say Bijan's off the board, right? Mm-hmm. I'm still going to take a quarterback here. It could be, whichever quarterback you want to take. It could be Richardson, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, whoever you want. And then I'm definitely, with one of those other picks, I'm taking Jahmyr Gibbs at the 103. The 106, maybe like Zay Flowers. I think it's too early for Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, something like that. Man, the running backs were disappointing this year. I might target like Tank Bigsby, Nate, at the 206, maybe, because Nate thinks he's going to pop.
I love me some Tank. So at the 106, I'm assuming I'm going to get either Stroud or JSN. I want those top 6 picks. We're getting 3 top 6 players. Love that. So I'm thinking, quarterback of choice at 102, Gibbs at 3, quarterback that fell or JSN at 106, 107. I prefer Jordan Addison. He's fast. And 109. Probably if looking at Dalton Kincaid. Who's our tight end here? Pitts. We have Pitts. So maybe not Dalton Kincaid. Maybe Zay Flowers. And then 202, 206. I like Tank Bigsby. I like Jaden Reed a lot still. Marvin Mims. I like those guys. Jacques Charbonnet. Good pick.
Yeah, with all these assets, and you just know how it is on draft day, or at least in some leagues where everybody's pumped up. Everybody's going to be so jealous of random guy on YouTube here. So I'd like to kick some of that to 24. Once you get to look at that, the
109. Let's move that back.
Yeah. I mean, people are going to be clamoring once you've got that 106, 7, 9 spot. So just use your leverage, push people around, move some of that to 24 as strategically as possible. Find the other garbage teams and try to get a top 4 24 first. Shane, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at all these picks and I'm figuring what can I do to consolidate them? It's a start 9, so I don't want to take a bunch of rookies, obviously the 102, 103, sure. I mean, we're looking at Anthony Richardson at 102 because I'm shooting upside. 103, it's full PPR, right? So I'm probably going to go with Gibbs there. 106, 107, 109. If I can't kick them to 24, then I'm trying to combine them together to upgrade or I'll just try to tie them to Devonta Smith, Ridley, London, Burks before what's his face went there, Hopkins. So I guess that's out the window. But I probably try to attach picks to those players and see if I could upgrade. And I'd see if I could also sell high on Pitts and just get Mark Andrews for him. I'd even throw in like the 206 for Pitts and get Mark Andrews to get an actual difference maker.
Yep.
Good stuff there. Okay, so gosh, I had a question on the tip of my tongue, and okay. So here at Dynasty Trades in 5, our slogan is process over players. Right, so we're all about format, roster construction, being player agnostic. With that being said, and I know you guys look at format and process and whatnot too. With that being said, who is a player that you just cannot quit? You cannot quit, even though you should.
I was LaVisca Chenault for me for a while. I was a big LaVisca fan. Coming out, I had him as like a top 5 wide receiver in the draft. Big fan of him. I really feel like the Jaguars just killed him because I thought he could have been used, appropriately. He would have been better, but just never came to fruition. And I still have him on some teams at the bottom of my roster in those deep leagues, but in other leagues, I have dropped him. I had to move on at some point. But there's still hope because Bryce Young's there now, and a new coach. So you never know.
He's an athlete. We'll see if that can get him past this. Mike, who is your kryptonite?
Well, for a while it was LaMichael Pirine, and then when that didn't pan out, I realized, hey, I need to redo how I process things. Just because you like a little bit of film from a player, you got to kind of move on when things aren't going to work out. But for me right now, and I don't know if this is going to work out or not, but I'm just so in on Greg Dulcich, and I know he missed some time. Talk about him all the time. Love me some Greg Dulcich. So that he's just the guy that I can't quit, and I feel like I have too many pieces of the Denver Broncos offense, but I'm still holding out hope because we're just going into a second year. So, but I have so much of him. I also have a lot of Brian Robinson too. I don't know why. I think because whenever I would be in the 3rd round of a draft last year, he was just there. It seemed like good value, and I was like, if he does anything. So I have 6 shares of him. He's my most rostered player. So for me, it's Dulcich and Brian Robinson.
So I have 2 players that I have over 50% rostership of. Just 2 players. That's Jahan Dotson and Tank Bigsby. And those have been my guys the last 2 drafts.
So you're really high on Jahan Dotson, huh?
Oh, huge on Jahan Dotson. Have been all of those picks. He's my most rostered player. Almost all of those came through the draft. I don't think I've traded for him anywhere. So it's all drafted or startups.
So I don't know the exact stats, but it seems like he had a lot of touchdowns versus the amount of receptions and targets he got. There was like
7 touchdowns last year.
Yeah.
Very
so talk to me about why you're bullish, Mike. It's bullish. Why you're bullish on Jahan Dotson.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Mike. You can talk about Jahan Dotson too. You're a big fan of him.
I am. Well, I'm a Penn State fan as well, so I watched him
Mhm.
play all throughout college. I just love everything he could do. The route running is good. He's a good deep threat. I think he's a good pairing with Terry McLaurin. Obviously, we don't know exactly what the Washington offense is going to look like right now. Eric Bieniemy comes in. Sam Howell's going to start, so I'm excited about that. There's, little youth coming into quarterback position instead of Washington just going through retreads like they've been for the last couple of years. So it's good that Eric Bieniemy. Hey, yeah, go ahead. Say he's going to be. Say Sam Howell's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes because Bieniemy's there. We'll see if it's Bieniemy or if it was Andy Reid. I mean, it was Andy Reid's system. But Jahan Dotson, man, he's super efficient. Could stretch the field. He could do everything really well. And, don't be afraid of number 2 wide receivers in an offense. We like T. Higgins. We like Devonta Smith. I guess we could technically say, what's his name down there? Jalen Waddle is the number 2 in Miami, however you want to look at that. So,
Right.
This is a circumstance where don't be afraid of that number 2 wide receiver. So, and he was hurt last year too, a little bit.
Yeah, he was hurt. Came back from his injury, and over the final games of the season, performed really, really well. Final games of the season, I believe he had a very similar target share to Terry McLaurin. Actually, I believe they were like the same. So his rookie year was already matching McLaurin in target share. To see that, that definitely validated what I believed about him. I think he can play inside, he can play outside, he creates his own yards. He has a 3-level player as well. So he really just is such a good all-around wide receiver. And the fact that he's already created production in his rookie year, even though he missed part of the season with injury, I think just really validates that he's not just a really talented guy, but a guy that's already producing, that's going to produce, And I like Sam Howell. So
I do too. I'm a Commanders fan for better or worse. We are perennial rebuilds. But okay, let's test how much you like Jahan Dotson then. So Dotson and a projected mid 24 first or CD Lamb? You selling CD for that?
I'll keep CD.
Okay. What about Olave? Same
Olave?
trade, but insert Olave.
And a mid 24 first?
No, I'm sorry. So it's Jahan Dotson and a mid 24 first for Olave.
For Olave.
Which side?
I'll take Dotson and the first.
Oh my God, I gotta hold on. I just gotta.
So on both of those trades, I'm on the not Jahan Dotson side. As much as I love Jahan Dotson, I liked CD Lamb more.
Too big of a tear down. Too big of a tear down there.
Like CD Lamb, just watching him, I knew he was special. Watching him at Oklahoma, I was really hoping the Eagles were going to draft him, but I think they drafted. Is it Jalen Reagor instead? Had to
Almost
do
the same thing. Almost same thing.
Almost.
Yeah. So, Chris Olave. Look, I think Chris Olave is going to be fine with Derek Carr. Everybody, Derek Carr, he can get it to the wide receiver. So if anyone's worried,
he definitely
about
can.
him, don't worry about Derek Carr.
Yeah,
he's going to be just fine.
For sure. Let's go to Justin DeKonig. What's up, Dustin? Did I say Justin the first time?
You did.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. We'll call him Dustin. We'll call him by his real name.
Yeah. People like that when you call them by their real name. I've learned that, by the way, that women do not like when you call them the wrong name at all, ever, but especially during certain specific times.
Oh no, Shane, you did.
Oh, he did live. Okay, so did my first auction, live in 2 different circumstances. Did my first auction draft, excited to be able to have a top 9 QB. Well, turns out there's still only 9 elite QBs in a 12-team auction. Curious everyone's thought on auctions versus snake. Sup, Shane? Hammer.
I think we already know my feeling about auction. I'm playing for the next year. Like
it's a 2-year build.
It's a 2-year build right up in the startup draft. I already know that, and I'm not great at it. I like to think the more I do it, I get a little better. But I mean, I prefer draft, but I like drafts. I don't know. I think there's more availability to trade and things like that. Although in a couple of the auction drafts, the OG ones, they're the ones we just did. There was just a devastating number of trades, but that could have been just everybody trying to show off their, show it off and put it on the table for the others.
Guys, Dustin, unfortunately, I can't be too much help to you. I've only done 1 auction draft, and I actually got kicked out of the draft, and here's why. It was on MFL, and the way they had it set up was right, as the auction's about to end. I would put a bid on someone and it would restart the time.
Yep.
Red line.
I'm like, well,
Red
hold
line
on a
'em.
second. I thought this was like eBay where I could sneak in at the last second and steal it. So for me, I don't work in front of a computer. I'm a mechanic. All I have is my phone, and MFL doesn't work the best on your phone. At least it didn't when I was doing it. So my team was so bad, they actually removed me from the auction, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing this again. So
They've removed you from the auction.
they
like, just like a
removed me
few-
from the auction. The person that was running it actually texted me and said, "WTF are you doing?" And I was like, I don't know. I'm trying my best. And I'm just
Yeah,
I'm really trying. I would love to try an auction again sometime.
Yeah.
Hopefully if I get this new job that I interviewed for on Tuesday, I will be in front of a computer. I could do an auction draft with somebody.
Oh,
And I
good
will.
luck.
I'll tell you what, if I get this job, I will do an auction startup with somebody. How's that sound?
I mean, look, they're
Sounds
fun. I'll say that they are definitely fun, and they probably are more fair than the luck of the draw that is even a derby auction. Because even you do it, or excuse me, a derby draft, someone's still getting to pick 101, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like someone's still getting screwed with the 112 and just getting whatever is given to them. So it is definitely probably fairer. It's just I know my own weaknesses, and it happens to be auction because I don't have self-control. So that's terrible in an auction because you do things like, oh, well, guess what? I'm going to get in a bidding war over T Higgins and spend $300 more than I should on him because someone keeps bidding me up.
Nate, are you auction or snake guy?
I honestly just have not done really any auction. Just has never been a thing. I've been around. I can't really get people into it in my circle, so haven't really had the opportunity. I do like auctions. I like that you can just kind of do whatever you want. You can really build your team however you want to. I think that does add, another level of fairness, though. It only is fair if everyone in the draft knows how to do an auction draft. If not, then it's certainly not fair because then you got poor
Yeah.
Mike and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Or
And
if
that is certainly
nobody
not
knows
fair.
if
Or they-
nobody knows what they're
cancel-
doing, it's fair that way too.
They kick him out of the league because
That-
he keeps redlining people and it's not even on purpose. Like the dude would have
Yeah.
respected you if you were just like, oh, I'm being an asshole. I'm redlining people. But you didn't even know what you're doing. He was like, this guy's got to go.
At least I was honest, right?
Yeah.
Like, I have no clue. Oh, look.
Yeah.
Hey, I got an alert. Shane is interested in one of my players.
Oh,
He's interested in Garrett Wilson.
So I was
yeah,
just
oh,
looking,
shocker.
I was looking
Yeah.
at this league, and me and Nate actually made a huge trade.
We
It was
did.
absolutely huge because I was looking at his roster and I'm like, oh, he's got Jamar Chase. I'd really like to add him. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, let's go
That's who
to
traded with Jamar Chase.
let's go to Ethan here with the super chat. 1 of 2. Thank you, Ethan. 10 teams start 10, 4 point per pass, touchdown, no tight end premium. Deshaun Watson, Fields. RBs are Bijan, Brees, James Cook. I always want to say Jared Cook, always and forever. Wide receivers are Christian Watson, QJ. Tight ends, Kincaid. All picks. Think I have to push contending. Where's the 2? Off 1 more year due to lack of assets outside my elite ones. Also a few stacked teams. Moves to guarantee my 24 first is early. Sell / break up Bijan maybe. Okay, so let's go back to the format first and foremost. 10 teams start 10. Shane, go ahead. You have thoughts. You have many thoughts going through
So
that
you
head.
have two top 10 quarterbacks, then you legitimately have the running back 1 and running back 2. Yeah, your wide receivers aren't what I would call good. But I am more apt. I forget that he said, does he have future picks? Because I'm more apt to add to this roster than I am going the other way.
Yeah, exactly. Like he wants to guarantee that his first is going to be early. You don't need
have
to
do
blow this up.
You have to do so much work to get there
Mhm.
that you're going to look back and go, okay, well, now next year comes and now I need to undo.
You'll
what I
wish you
just
had a
did.
Bijan and a Brees.
Yeah, like it's to me, it's easier to add to. Like, all right, you're a little weak at wide receiver. And I don't always advocate trading your future 24 picks, but like, can I trade QJ and a first for, well, might as well say it, Garrett Wilson. What's that other guy's name? That Chris Olave kid I like, AJ Brown. Like, can I do something like that? I'm more apt to do that. Can I sell high on Kincaid because he's not as good as people think he is? He was overdrafted. I am way more apt to do that.
Yeah, and 4 point per passing touchdown, Watson and Fields. He's got a nice team here. personally, if I'm doing anything, it's like little process trades here and there where you're doing small tier downs, pick up a little additional value, like picks here and there. I don't know. But don't blow this thing up. Like Shade said, you have to do so much work and you'd be blowing up such great pieces.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade. I wouldn't trade Bijan.
I would probably trade. I'd probably do like a tier down trade from like Deshaun Watson and pick up another wide receiver like that. I feel comfortable starting. I think that's the move. That's the first move I would make here.
Move from like Deshaun Watson to
To
Daniel Jones.
what can I get? What can I get on top of Dak? Maybe.
I would want Daniel Jones in this format, but yeah, if you want Dak, I get it. So yeah, get a nice wide receiver on top.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got some moves, Ethan. I don't know why you look at your team and you think it's ugly. It's very pretty, actually. So just take care of it. Make some good moves here. We'll be around. You know where to find us. Okay. So let's take that down here. Let's go to Florida State Hate. So a 10 team. Thank you for the super chat. 10 team, 2 QB, half PPR, start 9. Quarterbacks are Herbert, Goff, Tua. Running backs, KW, Pierce. Wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, DJ Moore, DK, Hollywood, Keenan Allen, and has the 107. Trade Goff, DK, JMO for Love, Sanders, the 109. And he says maybe Charbonnet. Thoughts? Thanks.
I don't like the value on this trade. I might take JMO and try to trade him for something. Maybe put JMO and Hollywood together and try to get an elite wide receiver, or upgrade my running back room maybe with JMO. But I don't like this trade. I feel like it's a lateral move at best from Goff to Love. I don't think that. I think Goff's much better production wise this year. I'd rather have DK than Sanders, and then JMO and the 109s, probably about equal-ish. I wouldn't make this trade.
Yeah, I'm on your side. Forgive me, I'm on your side with this one. Although I do, hopefully that JMO Goff stack comes to fruition. Like we were hoping that it would have. Well, last year, I guess the NFL is just going to Pete Rose everybody for doing anything on their phones. I understand it was in the facility, but I don't know. I don't know who's talking to these players when they come in. Just don't do that. Just leave your phone in your locker or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nate, I agree with you. I mean, the only side that I really, really want on the other side of that is Sanders. Do think he has no competition down there in Carolina. Showed he could stay healthy last year, played all 17 games. But I actually think Goff to Love is a tier down. Going from Goff to Love, to be honest with you. Goff, let me check in, I believe was quarterback 10 last year. See, I'm not making this trade either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm just not making the trade. I'm not making my team better. I'm going the opposite, I think.
Yeah.
He's getting Love. Sanders.
It'd be one thing if that 106 we're talking 105. Make it like a higher leverage first.
Right.
Especially in a 2 QB. Like if it's up there, maybe a different story. But as it stands, I'm not making that trade either. Okay. But hey, I'm just the guy in the middle on our show normally. Nobody cares about what I think. I just facilitate. Okay, let's go to. No, you say you do. Thank you, Shane.
I want some more John Dotson
Hugs
trash.
and kisses.
Hatred. Dotson's 22. Jesus Christmas. 22% touchdown rate is going to crash back to reality and hurt people. Lol. And it is.
Yeah,
it is a lull, or is it going to hurt people?
It's going to hurt people.
Yeah, no, I could see that definitely.
I mean, I don't expect him to continue to have a high, that high of a touchdown rate, but I think he's going to pull targets. He's going to pull receptions and create yards. I don't have any worries. You can pick him up right now. I think he's like wide receiver 30 on DLF ADP. I mean, come on. It's like, don't try to trash the wide receiver 30. I mean, Drake London should be closer to the wide receiver 30. Come on.
Drake London's better than you give him credit for, and Mike should go accept that offer I sent to him.
What was the offer?
Completely unrelated.
No,
completely unrelated.
I guess I have to look and see what the offer is. Since Shane's put me on the spot here.
Shane, what's the format while Mike is pulling it up?
Apparently, it's super flex. I knew that. But apparently, you only need one running back and a tight end, and then the rest are just flex. And I feel like I should have known that because I've been setting lineups in this league for 2 years. 3
2 or
years.
3 years. Yeah.
2 to 3 years. Like I've done it at least 34 times. Only if I did it only like once a week, which I know I haven't because I have OCD. So I've done it probably hundreds of times, but somehow I didn't know it. But yeah, it's start 10. Is it start 10?
Well, I have to go back to it now.
I gotta make them count it.
I think it's start 10. There's
12 team
18
super
flexes.
flex.
Yeah, 12 team super flex. I don't know
Tight end
any
premium.
of the premiums. There's a tight end premium, obviously.
It's actually a start 9, and I believe I tiered the PPR in this, if I remember correctly.
It's a start 9.
So what's the offer? What's the offer?
Good Lord.
The offer is. I have an offer from Nate too that I apparently didn't look at.
Okay.
I would give Garrett Wilson, and I would receive Drake London in a 25 second.
It's a good deal.
Hey, I offered Mike a trade last night in this league, actually.
Which is yours? So whichever one's better. I
I was traded for Garrett Wilson as well. How about that?
Okay, what was your offer?
So I
Better,
would give,
better than that one.
there's more pieces to this one. I would give Nick Chubb, Elijah Moore, and Garrett Wilson, and I would receive Jahan Dotson, Kenneth Walker, and a 2024 first.
Where would we calling that mid? Where's that first?
Well, it's from Nate's team, so it's probably going to be not that great of a first. It's probably going to be, I would say, at
A little later end.
let's just, you know what? Yeah, I mean, but I don't know.
I'm
This
keep-
team-
I'm
I gotta
keeping-
say, my
I'm
offer
keeping
is
Garrett
better,
Wilson.
so you should accept my offer.
I'm
don't know
keeping
what I
Garrett
wanna do.
Wilson. Start
Because I
start
like
9.
Garrett Wilson. I don't really want to move Garrett Wilson.
You
That's the
should.
problem.
You should.
So Eric says, asked this previously and got the Dynasty Trades and 5 folks perspective. Said that kind of right, but want to rewind it now. 10 team super flex, half PPR, start 12. Lamar or Goff, Pitts, and a late 24 first. Have Burrow, Geno, Chase, Wilson, Brees, JSN, and Ridley. What do you think, guys?
We should probably start with the Lamar fan here, huh?
I think this is decent value if you're trying to move off Lamar, but I wouldn't move off Lamar here for this. I don't think we're getting anything that's gonna, as you guys say, a hammer. I mean, Kyle Pitts, good, but that doesn't say it's tight end premium. And we have some questions about his production. I want to know what's going on with the running back room here outside of Brees Hall. I would, if I'm going to try to tier down from a quarterback, maybe try to tier laterally from Geno and add on something there. I'm going to keep Lamar, keep him with Burrow. That's a great quarterback room. Having Geno as my quarterback 3, I'm not upset with that at all.
Yeah. Bauer?
I'd like to see the running back room as well, but as much as I love Jared Goff, I don't shut up about him. He is definitely a tier down from Lamar Jackson. I think I'm going to stay put with the Lamar side, and I do agree with Nate. I think the value is good, but give me Lamar. I mean, just looking at a little bit of this team, it looks like it's set up to make a run, and I think Lamar is the guy that you want.
Yep.
Piling up those rushing yards for you.
Yeah, we made a reel out of this one. Shane, yeah, we know where your head's at on
No,
this.
now that I realize this is a start 9, I've increased my
Start
offer.
12.
It's a start 12. Oh, you're
No,
talking
no,
about the
there.
trade.
Oh,
You're not
yeah, I
paying.
don't-
He's
Oh, yeah.
back to the trade.
I should have.
They don't care. They already got our perspective on this, so I wasn't paying attention. I started because Mike and Nate are here,
No,
so
that's
that they could look
that's
at
fair.
it. So Mike,
You earn the right to not have to pay attention. That's fair.
I've upped the offer to you, sir.
Do I have to look at this right now?
You can look at whatever you want. Just hit
I'm-
accept.
I'm
You're
taking-
another one that's like, I
I'm
don't
taking
like
Elijah
trading
more out of my offer.
I don't like trading with you because you're another one that's like, oh, I gotta go to work and think about it. I'm like, what the fuck are you
And then I
talking
don't-
about?
And then I don't
Yeah.
think about it. I just do nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end. That was the last of our star ones, but I do have an important question here. Mike, we'll start with you.
Sure.
So I always ask this question. So if I were to hop into your whip, what song do I hear?
Let's see. Right now, my daughter is loving the Muppet Babies soundtrack, and I drive her either to my in-laws' house or preschool every day. So that I don't. get
That's
a
what's
lot of
playing.
time. But if you were just getting in my car with me, it would probably be something like Slayer, Megadeth, Cannibal Corpse, stuff
Okay.
like that. Stuff people don't actually want to listen to, but
No, hey, do you, Nate?
All right. So I actually love this question. I love music, really big into music. I'm going to take this second to actually just say that I actually make my own music. You can look it up. It's under Nate Christian. So on
sweet.
Spotify, Apple Music. I have an album out. Just go check it out. Nate
Good for
Christian.
you, man.
I create music, so go check it out. But that's probably not what I would show you because I'm not like that. I'm too shy. But if you go in my car right now, you're going to hear probably "Wreck My Life" by 90s Kids, a band I've been checking out recently, small band, or the album "Double Dare" by Water Parks, kind of in an alt rock, punk rock mode right now. So that's what I've been listening to.
Wreck My Life by whom?
90s Kids. They're a
90s
small
Kids.
band out of Columbus, Ohio, I believe.
Got
It
got
sounds like a summer bop right out of 2005 from your favorite alt rock band. It's
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah. No, I hear that. Yeah, I'm
But
on a
I
big
did listen to some music today on the way home. Before I had to go get my daughter, I listened to the new Drain, which is post-hardcore. If anyone's into that, so
Yeah.
check it out. Yeah,
All right.
it's like California. They consider themselves like California, like surfer hardcore / punk. It's pretty cool.
I
It's
can't
different.
imagine what that sounds like.
It's fun. It's just fun. It's great.
So I've been listening to, and I know you didn't ask, but I don't really give a flying fuck.
Well, I know what you listen to, but what have you been
What
listening
have I
to?
been
lately,
listening to?
Shane?
Tell me, what have I been listening to this last 2 weeks?
Well, no, you just I did the Shane's Day video on you. I know what you generally listen to. As a
No, I've been getting
spider
down.
is crawling on me.
I've been getting down to some Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Invisible
right.
String and Exile is a duet with her and what do you call those people? Bon Iver, well, whatever the lead singer's name is. Also Taylor Swift with a duet with The National.
Mhm.
So weirdly enough, I've been listening to a lot of like Taylor Swift, The National, Bon Iver, and then some rando country music.
All right.
And obviously Weezer, always Weezer.
Yeah. Okay, so that is all we have starred, guys. This was a great time. We have 255 eyeballs in here, as we like to say. Thank you so much for joining on a Thursday. Normally it's our Tuesday crowd. We've got Mr. Padilla's mom is in here, of course. We got Dad, the other usuals, Ryan, Ray, Dave. Good times, man. Good times for a Thursday. Mike, Nate, plug yourselves, plug your patron, plug everything you're doing over there at the Rewind. Tell us why you're the best in the business, Mike. Okay. Go
Well,
ahead.
hey, we try our best. We try to be open. I can't say we're the best until we're doing it full time, but we're trying to get there. Who knows if that's going to happen or not? But check us out, patreon.com/Dynasty Rewind, payhip.com/Dynasty Rewind. If you want us instead of trades and 5, do roster reviews. Not saying don't have you guys do it, but we offer it too. We got a startup strategy guide on there. We got a rookie draft guide. There's more stuff coming. We're always working on adding that. Hey, buy some merch. Do you guys have merch yet?
Sweet shirt.
Did you guys get
We're
trades
about
and
to.
five?
We're
You
about
should.
to.
Well, have you picked a store yet? If you haven't, let us know. We could guide you.
Well, work out a little. Yeah, we could talk about that.
No,
offline.
we
I did
will-
pick a store. I'm very close.
I
but
wouldn't get anything back on that, but just try to help you guys get the help that
I
we
could.
didn't
I could
get.
use the help. I could use the
It's-
help. It's 98% there. I just need to push it over the line. But
I think we use Spreadshop, Nate, right?
Yep.
I should know
Mhm.
that, but I don't. So any videos or podcasts of ours, all our links are in there to everything that we do. Go check it out. So appreciate you guys having us on a lot.
Yes.
yeah, no doubt. And I appreciate the hustle. You guys put out a lot of freaking content. You guys put out a lot.
Got
of
to shout out
content,
our producer, one of our main guys, Bob Van Duzer.
Yeah.
Bob's
He's
man.
really, I had this vision a couple years ago, and since I brought him on, he's really been the driving force, and he commits a lot of time to it. So hats off to Bob. If you don't even
For
follow him
sure.
on Twitter, because he's not going to respond to you, but just know that Bob is the man behind the scenes that makes it happen.
Yep. Actually, I recorded 2 videos Tuesday night for the podcast. I recorded 2 videos last night with Bob, doing this tonight. So, we're doing a lot of stuff over there. It's a lot of fun. The YouTube's growing.
That's what it is.
And then check out on Twitter. You can follow me at Nate NFL. Mike, what's Rewind CEO?
Yep.
Mhm.
So
I don't tweet
right.
much, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, and I'm not on Threads. So
Yeah, I added it. I have not even got in there yet. But all right, that's it from us. Thank you very much for joining, and we will we'll see you next time. End the recording. See you guys.